The Royal Docks in East London are one of the capital's biggest regeneration projects. The area is the same size as central London, from Hyde Park to Tower Bridge. The docks were built from 1855 onwards for large ships that couldn't fit into smaller docks further upriver. But they closed in 1982, blighting the surrounding area with high unemployment and derelict land. Unlike their sister docks on the Isle of Dogs, where Canary Wharf sprung up in the 1980s and 90s, the Royal Docks haven't found a new use, until now. London Mayor Boris Johnson and Prime Minister David Cameron have fought to attract Asian investors into the area to help regenerate it. Now several major projects are in the pipeline. One of the first is Royal Wharf. Singapore developer Oxley Holdings and Irish firm Ballymore have started work on site, and the first homes have just gone on sale to Londoners. It's hard to believe it now, but in 5 years' time, more than 3,400 new homes will have been built here, housing 10,000 people. A school, 2 new parks, and a whole new high street will create a new community. Ching Chiat Kwong, Chief Executive of Oxley, says London's need for more housing offers great opportunity for overseas developers.
Yeah, it's always been my dream to come to London. I'm a developer in Singapore, and I know there are limits to what I can do in Singapore. I met Boris Johnson last year in Hong Kong. After his Beijing tour, he went to Hong Kong, and one of the video presentation he showed us is about the rejuvenation of Royal Dockland. And I was convinced thereafter, because I think it is a major effort by the London Boris Johnson to actually build a major township towards the east of London, because the west is being saturated.
Ballymore Chief Executive John Mulryan says that some of London's largest disused sites have been the hardest to redevelop, and foreign investors are helping to kickstart activity.
There is, a huge amount of capital in Asia. I think for these big projects, I think that's what they need to get them off the ground. We've seen what happened in Battersea Power Station, a project that had been, dormant for 30, 40 years, and it took that amount of capital to come in and be able to deliver it. And I think the Royal Docks is a kind of a similar case, where it's been an opportunity for a long time, but it needed someone with deep pockets and I suppose a real vision, which I think Asian developers tend to have.
Meanwhile, a £1 billion Asian business park is planned for the area, which will make it one of the biggest locations for Chinese businesses in Europe. And Sir Stuart Lipton, one of Britain's best-known developers, is building a new innovation and business incubation space.
It's a challenge. East London, on one hand, has been neglected for a century probably, since the great days of the docks. On the other hand, is a new opportunity, and the opportunity is extraordinary because there's so little there. We can start from modest surroundings, but there are great pieces of history here, the docks themselves. London's chronic housing shortage can be mitigated in part from East London, but the quality of everything needs to be much better than it has been. Quality isn't a word that's figured in East London, and that needs to be accompanied by new civic and arts facilities.
The transformation of the Royal Docks is only just beginning. It'll take at least a decade before the future shape of the area really begins to emerge, and even longer than that before it becomes clear whether all these developers' plans can be considered a success. Kate Allen, Financial Times, East London.